A girl is Arya Stark of Winterfell, and I'm going home.
The girl who was not no one. The Faceless Men almost never recruit outsiders, and when they do, it's never by accident. So why did Jaqen H'ghar, one of the deadliest assassins in the world, choose a 10-year-old girl from Winterfell? What did he see in Arya Stark that made him risk revealing his identity, his purpose, even his god? Picture it. A man locked in an iron cage, rolling north toward the wall, watching a dirty boy with a sword that doesn't belong. The boy fights with grace, speaks with defiance, and carries herself like someone who has known both loss and privilege. Jaqen sees what others can't, a mask. When the caravan burns and the flames rise, Arya frees him, the moment that binds their fates. In the chaos, the assassin realizes something extraordinary. This child doesn't just survive death, she understands it. From that instant, Arya Stark becomes more than another lost soul in the War of Five Kings. She becomes a potential faceless man. But the Faceless Men don't serve kings or crowns. They serve something far older and far more terrifying than politics. And if Jaqen chose Arya, it wasn't mercy, it was purpose. Because to the many-faced god, not every death is punishment. Some deaths are invitations. The man in the cage. When Jaqen H'ghar first laid eyes on Arya Stark, he saw through her disguise instantly. To everyone else, she was just another filthy orphan boy, small, scrappy, half-starved. But to a faceless man, trained to see the truth beneath masks, Arya's act was paper-thin. Her sword, needle, was too fine for a beggar. Her stance in a fight, the water dancer's pose of Braavos, was too elegant, too disciplined for a street urchin. Even the way she spoke gave her away. Arya Stark was trying to disappear, and Jaqen H'ghar saw her. He would have noticed everything, the way she hid when the gold cloaks came searching, the way Yoren treated her with quiet respect, the way her eyes hardened when men spoke of the Starks. To him, she was a mystery wrapped in blood and lies. And Jaqen was not a man who ignored mysteries. Locked in his cage on the road to the wall, he observed her, studying, testing, waiting. The Faceless Men served the god of death, but they were also students of life, of deception, truth, and the faces people wear to survive. Arya's disguise was crude, but her resolve was not. She lied convincingly, fought savagely, and adapted to every danger. When the fire came and Arya freed him, she didn't just save 3 men. She saved one assassin who had just found his next pupil. To Jaqen, that was no coincidence. It was balance. The many-faced god had sent him a gift, a girl who kills to live and lives to kill. And from the moment she unlocked his cage, Arya Stark was no longer a fugitive. She was a prospect. 3 deaths for 3 lives. When Jaqen H'ghar reappeared at Harrenhal, he didn't come for revenge. He came with an offer. He told Arya that she owed the Red God 3 deaths, payment for the 3 lives she had saved when she freed him from the burning wagon. Only death can pay for life, he said. To a child half lost in grief, it sounded like destiny, like balance. But that balance was a lie. Jaqen wasn't a priest bound by divine law. The Faceless Men don't kill for debts of fate. They kill for intent. Each death they deliver carries purpose, a choice, not an accident. Arya hadn't bargained with the god of death when she freed Jaqen. She had acted from instinct, mercy, and courage. But Jaqen twisted that mercy into a lesson. He offered her the illusion of control. Name 3. That single phrase was the truest test he could give, not of magic, but of morality. Would she choose revenge, justice, chaos? Would she hesitate before condemning someone to die? She didn't. The first names came easily. Soldiers, tormentors, men she hated. Arya Stark, 10 years old, spoke death as if reciting prayer, and Jaqen watched her carefully. No guilt, no fear, only precision. Each death he carried out, Chiswick, Wheeze, the Tickler, wasn't just an assassination. It was instruction, a demonstration of what death could be. Quick, silent, absolute. Arya saw power, and she wanted it. Jaqen saw belief, and he nurtured it. The game of names was never about balance or divine punishment. It was recruitment disguised as ritual, a promise wrapped in philosophy. When Arya whispered those names, she wasn't settling a debt. She was taking her first lesson in the language of death. A natural for the faceless. The faceless men do not recruit by chance. Every apprentice must be chosen, weighed, watched, and tested. And by the time Arya Stark crossed paths with Jaqen H'ghar, she had already lived the life of a faceless man without even knowing it. From the day she fled King's Landing, Arya had worn more names than most people wear clothes. Arya Stark, daughter of Winterfell; Arry, the orphan boy on the King's Road; Weasel, the servant girl at Harrenhal. Each mask protected her, but each one also stripped a little more of her true self away. To a faceless man, this wasn't tragedy, it was potential. Jaqen saw it immediately. Her adaptability, her cunning, her capacity to erase one identity and inhabit another. She wasn't pretending to survive, she was becoming survival. And then there was the darkness inside her. Arya's prayer, the nightly recitation of names she wanted dead, wasn't just a child's game. It was devotion. Every whisper, Joffrey, Cersei, the Hound, was an offering to something she didn't yet understand. When Jaqen overheard her prayers, it would have struck him like prophecy. This was no random girl. This was a soul already speaking the language of the many-faced god. Her hatred, her loss, her obsession, all perfectly aligned with the creed of the faceless. Even her bloodline added to the intrigue. The Starks were ancient, their roots tied to the old gods, to death beneath the weirwoods. Perhaps Jaqen saw that too, a girl of the north, bound to death itself, now wandering the world, searching for meaning. To him, Arya wasn't just another lost child. She was a raw, unshaped blade, the kind of weapon only the faceless men could forge, and all he had to do was sharpen her, the test of no one. When Jaqen offered Arya the coin, he wasn't rewarding her, he was inviting her. A single piece of iron stamped with a strange face and a phrase, Valar Morghulis. All men must die. It wasn't a charm or a token of gratitude, it was a key to a hidden world, to the shadows of Braavos, to the House of Black and White. And with that offer came a question more dangerous than any sword fight. Who are you, really? Because the faceless men don't train assassins. They erase them. To become one, you must first become no one. A vessel empty of pride, hatred, love, and name. Jaqen's coin was a promise of transformation, but also annihilation. He knew Arya wasn't ready yet. She still carried too much of herself. Her father's honor, her wolf's rage, her family's name. Her heart still beat for Winterfell. So he didn't force her. He let her go, because true disciples must walk willingly into oblivion. Jaqen's greatest test was not killing, but patience. The faceless men believe that death comes in its own time, that each soul finds its God when the world has stripped away all else. Arya wasn't there yet, but Jaqen saw the path laid out before her. Every name she whispered, every identity she shed, every act of vengeance. It all led her toward Braavos, toward the black and white doors where the faithful go to forget themselves. So he left her with the coin, a symbol and a trap. Because once she took it to Braavos, once she spoke the words Valar Morghulis to the right ears, there would be no turning back. The girl who thought she wanted revenge would soon learn the price of becoming no one, and how easily death can become a god. The perfect recruit. The faceless men don't search for killers, they search for believers, and Arya Stark was both. From Jaqen's point of view, she checked every box that the House of Black and White prized. She was clever, fearless, adaptable, capable of blending into any crowd. She'd already lived as a boy, a beggar, a servant, and a killer. She could lie without flinching, fight without mercy, and disappear without being missed. That last part mattered most. To the faceless men, attachments are chains. Family, loyalty, love, all are weaknesses that tether the soul to identity. But Arya's world had already burned away everything she loved. Her father's execution shattered her sense of justice. Her mother and brothers were far beyond her reach. Her home was gone, and her gods, if they still listened, were silent. She had nothing left but a list of names and a hollow ache inside her chest. To Jaqen, that emptiness was opportunity. He saw in her what every zealot sees in a lost soul, a blank slate. She wasn't yet no one, but she was well on her way. And unlike most orphans or outcasts, Arya had something rare, a will. She wanted to understand death, to control it, to make it serve her instead of haunting her. That desire is the seed of every faceless man. Jaqen had seen it before, in the origin of his order, in the slaves who prayed not for freedom, but for an end. And when Arya whispered her list, night after night, she echoed that same prayer. Her kill list wasn't vengeance, it was ritual, it was worship. So when he gave her the coin, he wasn't gifting her passage to Braavos, he was answering a prayer. And in Arya Stark, the Faceless Men found not just another recruit, they found their perfect reflection. Death's chosen. When Arya finally crossed the narrow sea, she didn't travel as a noble or a fugitive. She traveled as a promise, Jaqen H'ghar's promise. The coin led her straight to Braavos, to the doors of the House of Black and White, a temple to the many-faced god, where the greatest assassins in the world served death as both art and faith. Inside those shadowed halls, Arya was no longer Arya Stark of Winterfell. She was the girl, a servant of death, a vessel being hollowed out for something greater. To the priests of that temple, she was more than a visitor. She was fulfillment, a child born of northern blood and old gods, carrying the instincts of both killer and dreamer. A girl who could wear faces, perhaps even walk in the skin of beasts. A living contradiction, identity and void, fury and stillness. The House of Black and White did not need another acolyte. They needed a weapon, someone who could reach where no faceless man could go, someone who could stand in the sunlight and strike unseen. Jaqen knew this. He'd tested her, forged her, and now delivered her to the only god who would accept her. But the irony of it all was that Arya was never meant to vanish. The more she learned to become no one, the more her true self, the wolf, the girl from Winterfell, fought to live. In her, the many-faced god had found not just a servant, but a rival. The Faceless Men thought they were shaping Arya into nothing, but what they created instead was something far more dangerous, a Stark who had looked death in the eye and learned to speak its language. And death, in all its faces, would never forget her name. The girl who was seen, Jaqen H'ghar, was never truly her captor, her savior, or her master. He was her mirror. From the moment he first looked through the bars of his cage, he saw not a frightened child, but a reflection of what he once was, lost, angry, unmoored from the world, desperate for meaning in a life soaked with death. To him, Arya Stark wasn't just a potential faceless man. She was proof that the god of death still whispered to the living, choosing new instruments, shaping new myths. But the twist is that Jaqen misread his own lesson. He thought he was recruiting a follower. Instead, he inspired a challenger. The girl who was supposed to become no one never stopped being Arya Stark. She learned the Faceless Men's secrets, their poisons, their illusions, their prayers, and then used them for her own ends. In the quiet halls of Braavos, they taught her that all men must die. But Arya learned a different truth. Not all deaths are equal. Jaqen saw a girl worth remaking. The world would remember a girl who remade herself. When she left the House of Black and White behind, she didn't abandon death. She claimed it. She carried the many-faced god within her, a whisper behind every blade she drew. And in the end, it wasn't the Faceless Men who shaped Arya Stark. It was Arya Stark who stole their face.